Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 4. So obviously we have the finale of this season of The Flash in just over a week from now, which is incredibly exciting, but also sad at the same time as, well, after that we will have to wait around 2 months until we get to San Diego Comic-Con and get any more new Flash footage or anything like that. But regardless, hype levels are quite high, I'm sure, for most of us, whether or not you have enjoyed this season. Because I'm sure even if you haven't enjoyed this season that much, you're just looking forward to it being over. But if you have enjoyed the season so far, you're looking forward to seeing how it ends, if that makes sense. Now, every season with The Flash, there are a handful of mysteries, whether they be around the main villain and their true identity, or around other characters and who they could be, as well as what their true intentions could be. But one of the biggest mysteries of this season has been around the more commonly titled Mystery Girl, the girl we have seen show up every now and then throughout this season, firstly at the wedding in the crossover, also showing up at Cecile's baby shower a few episodes ago, but most often showing up and rambling about in Jitters, which has led to her being given the name or title of coffee shop girl, by a group of people as well. But one of the other big mysteries of the season, which was introduced way before this mystery girl even showed up, which was all the way back in episode 1, and something that has showed up sporadically might I say, but not for a while, but is also connected to this mystery girl as we saw her writing them down, and that is those symbols that we have seen being written down by Barry after he escaped the Speed Force, as well as DeVoe at multiple points throughout the season on different things such as a blackboard, his computer, and even his face. And then of course the mystery girl after she spoke to Ralph, may he rest in peace, and Cisco at Jitters. Now, she was writing them down almost as if she was writing a journal entry or something like that, but we will jump into that later on. But what happened to those symbols? It's almost like the show, forgot about them. The fact that they were introduced, and focused on, but almost just put to the side has frustrated some people. And seeing we are heading into our final 2 episodes of the season, you would expect to get at least some understanding of what they mean, and possibly even what Barry was writing. I'm not saying fully explain it, maybe even keep whatever these symbols fully mean as a bit mysterious and, move them into next season, but come on mate, give us something, throw us a bone in these last 2 episodes at least. But in this video, we will go over what we have seen, the various connections and what they could, lead to in the future, whether it's this season or next season. And then I will also go over some of your guys' thoughts, as I did ask in my community tab for some feedback on what you thought they could mean, as well as when you think they will fully dive headfirst into them and focus properly on them. But before that, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below throughout this video your thoughts on what we go over in this video, whether your option for the Speed Force symbols or these symbols gets brought up, what you agree with what I say, what you disagree, and also put any other options that I don't list in this video in the comment section down below as well. I'm very interested to hear what everyone has to say. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, it would be awesome to drop a like on the video, to show your support, especially as we're moving to the end of this season of The Flash. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's just start off with the most obvious choice of, I'm guessing most of you watching, and also it's the one that I put in the title as it is what they are most commonly referred to as in the community and stuff. And that is that these symbols are a language of sorts of the Speed Force. Now, the Speed Force is a sentient being, mainly because Barry is sentient, but due to that, it can be seen that there is a large chance that it could have its own language and symbols to represent that language. Obviously, we saw Barry write them down as soon as he escaped the Speed Force, as he was still frazzled, but as soon as he, unfrazzled or defrazzled, whatever is the correct term to use, no more symbols were written down by him. So it was almost like he could only write them down when he was in that state. So basically, the symbols were only wrote down by Barry while his mind was still in the Speed Force, if you want to say, or his brain was connected to the Speed Force in that manner. The other connection has to do with the Mystery Girl. Now, at the time that we saw her writing those symbols down, we didn't know that she was a speedster and had a connection to the Speed Force. But now, after a couple of episodes ago, her writing down those symbols has a completely different meaning. Now, quickly, we'll go into a subscriber's thoughts on the symbols that's sort of around this topic. And this is from Carl and what he thinks the symbols are and what their role will be this season and going forward. So Carl wrote Speed Force symbols, but part of it will be used this season to defeat DeVoe, and then it will be explained more in depth next season. Now, this was a comment and reply, I guess, to what these symbols could be. And I think if you're going to put money on one, you had to choose. You had to place a bet on what the option is. Carl's probably got the most likely option and the most likely outcome if these symbols do end up being Speed Force symbols. The next option that we will be going over is another popular option, and that is that the symbols are a future language and possibly even the language of DeVoe's enlightenment. Now, DeVoe has symbols on his face when he is the thinker, which do look like they could be a part of those symbols or that language, but we also have seen the symbols on his blackboard back from episode 7 when we had the DeVoe flashbacks before he officially became the thinker, as well as seeing them on his computer at different points. This makes sense, especially if Barry lived his life over and over countless times during his time in the Speed Force. It would make sense that he would know of this language if it's from the future after DeVoe launches the Enlightenment. The same goes with the Mystery Girl and why she would know it, as well, she is obviously from the future. There's really no doubt about that. Or at least she has knowledge of the future, which would include these symbols or language, whatever it might be. Now, this is another subscriber's thoughts on the symbols. This is coming from Tassos Mania. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I haven't. And they wrote, maybe it's the new language DeVoe will use, and the Mystery Girl is from a future in which DeVoe won, which once again is a very popular option or popular opinion in regards to this option. So yeah. Now, this next option comes straight from a subscriber who is Dare Widerstand, hopefully I pronounced that right, or Widerstand, however you want to pronounce it, who said, I saw once on Smallville in Season 2 that Dr. Swan had these symbols on his whiteboard. Now, what he is referring to are the symbols that Dr. Virgil Swan had on his blackboard, as you can see here. Now, these were actually Kryptonian symbols. On the show, Virgil was the one to really go over Clark Kent's alien origins with him. Obviously, it was fitting that this character was to do that, as he was played or portrayed by Christopher Reeve, who is the most famous portrayal of Superman. In regards to my thoughts on this, yeah, they do look similar, but I highly doubt that what Barry was writing and what DeVoe was writing and what the Mystery Girl was writing are Kryptonian symbols. It's just a similarity, I think, and just a coincidence. And the last option is that what Barry was writing was some form of the Arrowverse form of the Interlac. Now, technically all the options are a form of the Interlac, I guess, but the Interlac that we are referring to here is the Interlac from the 30th century in DC Comics or the DC Universe. So if you are watching Supergirl, that is from around the time of the Legion of Superheroes, and the Interlac is sort of, connected to them. Now, the Interlac is your easy alphabetic substitution system, so one symbol stands for the letter A, one symbol stands for the letter B, and so on and so forth. And the same goes with numbers, so one symbol stands for the number 1, the number 2, and yeah, you get the gist of it. And once again, this is a possibility due to one simple thing: future stuff. But overall, I think these options all make sense. To me, they all make sense, like they could all possibly happen. But I think it's really hard to go past the fact that it is something to do with the Speed Force. The thing that really gets in the way of that just being, put down as the most likely theory and the theory that we think is definitely going to happen has to do with the fact that DeVoe is involved. And he's been involved for a while before he officially became the thinker. That's the thing that really gets in the way of it, which then leads it to maybe it is the Enlightenment, because everyone that we've seen writing them down could have, seen the future and where that Enlightenment maybe comes from. So yeah, it's definitely between Speed Force symbols and the Enlightenment, but I think a lot of people want it to be Speed Force symbols because it will go past this season and not necessarily just be connected to DeVoe for this season's story. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like to show your support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on these different options and stuff like that. Just leave them all down there in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys, and goodbye.